Although food is not a major theme in The Importance of Being Earnest, it is used symbolically to represent abstract ideas in the play. From the moment the play opens to the point where the curtain falls, there are numerous cases where food is used to represent something else. In most cases, the scene where food is present ends up in conflict, showing how food was important in the Victorian age. In a large extent, food is also used as a sign of respect and hospitality to visitors and also as a form of socializing. In the first incidence, food is used as an alternative for other appetites since Algernon devours all the sandwiches without even realizing it. When Lady Bracknell shows up later, Algernon is surprised to notice that he has absent-mindedly eaten all the cucumbers, and he decides to lie to her that there was no supply for cucumbers in the market that particular day. In reality, Algernon's voracious appetite is used as a swap for the idea of sex. It is interesting to notice that Algernon picks up a slice of cucumber every time people are talking about love and marriage. When Jack and Algernon begin talking about Jack's pending proposal to Gwendoline, the urge to eat something increases significantly between the two men. Indeed, Algernon's insatiable appetite is used to represent an underlying greediness and gratuitous extravagance. This is seen in the way he devours the cucumbers while graciously denying Jack the opportunity to have a taste. In an earlier exchange, Algernon tells Jack that he is not allowed to eat cucumbers since he does not have any blood relation with Lady Bracknell, who is meant to feast on the cucumbers. Instead, Algernon allows Jack to eat bread and butter, since they are the kind of food which appeals to Gwendoline. In this text, Algernon interprets food as a form of societal and even sexual expression. When Jack becomes so enthusiastic while eating the bread, Algernon reprimands him for behaving as though he were married to Gwendoline already. This clearly shows that the bread was used as a representation for sex in this text. The social aspect of food appears later when Cicely and Gwendoline have a spat on who is really engaged to Ernst Worthing. Although the spat has been going on for long, the climax comes when Gwendoline tells Cicely, whose plate is full of cake and sugar, that those things are rarely seen at the best houses nowadays. Instead of disputing this information, Cicely responds by filling Gwendoline's cup with sugar and her plate with pieces of cake to demonstrate that Gwendoline was the one who was incapable of taking care of a house. The seriousness with which these two women approached the matter shows that on top of nourishment, food was used as a symbol of sex and one's social standing in the society. Conclusion. The Importance of Being Earnest contains scenes where food is used to represent various things in the society. Right from the start, an excessive obsession with food is used as a representation of an underlying problem in the life of the concerned person. In other instances, food is used as a symbol of sex between couples. In nearly all the cases, food was used in a symbolic way to represent one's social standing in the society. Here are some chunks of the text from The Importance of Being Earnest. These chunks are related to food and the importance of food in the eyes of the characters of the drama. As we have already discussed previously that food is used to represent various things in the society. Food is used as a representation of an underlying problem in the life of the concerned person. It is used as a symbol of sex between couples. Nearly in all cases, food was used in a symbolic way to represent one's social standing in the society. Let's go ahead with the text of the drama. Algernon said, Lane, I see from your book that on Thursday night, when Lord Shoreman and Mr. Woodring were dining with me, 8 bottles of champagne are entered as having been consumed. Lane, yes, sir. 8 bottles and a pint. Algernon, why is it that at a bachelor's establishment the servants invariably drink the champagne? Lane, I attribute it to the superior quality of the wine, sir. I have often observed that in married households, the champagne is rarely of a first-class brand. Jack, what else should bring one anywhere eating as usual? Algernon, I believe it is customary in good society to take some slight refreshment at 5 o'clock. Jack, why all those cups? Why cucumber sandwiches? Why such reckless extravagance in one so young? Who is coming to tea? When Jack takes a sandwich, Algernon interferes and says, Please don't touch the cucumber sandwiches. They are ordered specially for Aunt Augusta. Algernon himself takes one and eats it. Jack, well, you have been eating them all the time, Algernon. That is quite a different matter. She is my aunt. Takes plate from below. Have some bread and butter. Gwendoline is devoted to bread and butter. When Jack eats, Algernon said, My dear fellow, you need not eat as if you were going to eat it all. You behave as if you were married to her already. When Lady Bracknell comes and wishes to have cucumber sandwiches which Algernon promised to serve, he acts in this way. Algernon picks the empty plate in horror and asks Lane, Why are there no cucumber sandwiches? I ordered them specially. Lane, gravely, There were no cucumbers in the market this morning, sir. I went down twice. Algernon, No cucumbers? Lane, No, sir, not even for ready money. Algernon, That will do. Lane, thank you. Then Algernon asks sorry to Lady Bracknell. She says okay. At Jack Walton House, when Algernon arrives, during his conversation with Cicely, You are looking a little worse. Algernon, That is because I am hungry. Cicely, How thoughtless of me. I should have remembered that when one is going to lead an entirely new life, one requires regular and wholesome meals. Won't you come in? Algernon, thank you. I never have any appetite unless I have a buttonhole first. Cicely serving Gwendoline in the presence of Merryman in a taunting way. Cicely said, May I offer you some tea, Miss Fairfax? Gwendoline, with elaborate politeness. Thank you. Aside, distasteful girl. But I require tea. Cicely said, sweetly. Sugar? Gwendoline, superciliously. No, thank you. Sugar is not fashionable anymore. Cicely looks angrily at her, takes up the tongs and puts 4 lumps of sugar into the tea. Cicely, severely. Cake or bread and butter? Gwendoline, in a bored manner. Bread and butter, please. Cake is rarely seen at the best houses nowadays. Cicely cuts a very large slice of cake and puts it on the tray. Hand that to Miss Fairfax. Merryman does so and goes out. Gwendoline takes the tea and makes a grimace, puts down cup at once, reaches out her hand to the bread and butter, looks at it and finds it is cake. She rises in indignation. Gwendoline, you have filled my tea with lumps of sugar, and though I asked most distinctly for bread and butter, you have given me cake. I am known for the gentleness of my disposition and the extraordinary sweetness of my nature, but I warn you, Miss Cordew, you may go too far. When the two girls discovered that both of the young men were not Ernst, they left and went inside the house. Then Algernon started eating muffins. Jack said, "How can you sit there calmly eating muffins when we are in this horrible trouble? I can't make out you seem to be perfectly heartless." Algernon, "Well, I can't eat muffins in an agitated manner. The butter could probably get on my cuffs. One should always eat muffins quite calmly. It is the only way to eat them." Jack, "I say it's perfectly heartless you're eating muffins at all under the circumstances." Algernon, "When I am in trouble, eating is the only thing that consoles me. Indeed, I am in really great trouble. Refuse anything except food and drink." Jack, "Well, that is no reason why you should eat them all in that greedy way." Takes muffins from Algernon. Algernon, offering tea cake. "I wish you could have tea cake. Instead, I don't like tea cake." Jack, "I suppose a man may eat his own muffins in his own garden." Algernon, "But you have just said it was perfectly heartless to eat muffins." Jack, "I said it was perfectly heartless of you under these circumstances. That is a very different thing." Algernon, "That may be, but the muffins are the same." He seizes the muffin dish from Jack. Jack, "Algie, I wish to goodness you would go." Algernon, "You can't possibly ask me to go without having some dinner. It's absurd. I never go without my dinner. No one ever does, except vegetarians and people like that." After some time, Jack again picks up the muffin dish. Algernon, "Jack, you are at the muffins again. I wish you won't. There are only two left. Takes them. I told you I was particularly fond of muffins." Jack, "But I hate tea cakes." Algernon, "Why on earth then do you allow tea cake to be served up for your guests? What idea you have of hospitality?" Jack, Algernon, "I have already told you to go. Why don't you go?" Algernon, "I haven't quite finished my tea yet, and there is still one muffin left." Jack groans and sinks into a chair. Algernon still continues eating. In the beginning of Act 3, Gwendolyn and Cicely are at the window, looking out into the garden. Cicely said about Jack and Algernon, "They have been eating muffins. That looks like repentance." So these are some chunks from the text of the drama. And after reading these chunks of the text, you can easily understand how food is used to represent various things, to represent problems prevailing in the society, to represent sex among couples, excess and overindulgence, one's social standing in the society.